My fellow Cardinals fans, it has come to my attention that we need to talk. We need to talk about the state of the St. Louis Cardinals. And as you know, as is a lifelong team of mine, I've been watching it, since the summer of '98. The KPLR days, Channel 11, KMOX days, 11:20. I am a diehard. Well, cry hard at least. I ain't dying for nothing. But you know that I love this team. I know that you love this team. So I want us to have this time on this show to speak about our love. Okay. So we are in a transition period. As y'all know, Mo is on his way out. The guy Mr. Bloom, because I can't remember his first name or how to say it, he is going to be on his way in. The guy from the Rays. I think he's from the Rays. Either way. Not important, especially because I didn't research it. But what you guys need to know is that this is a time that we all going to have to come together. Now, I've been not so thrilled with how participation has been from the fandom. I am not in St. Louis, so I can't come to Busch Stadium. But it seems like attendance is sparse. And granted, it is fair to say why attendance is sparse is because the team has been underwhelming. Granted, we did improve 12 games from last year, from 2023 to 2024. We finished 83-79 last year, just out of playoff position. But from what we basically were year prior, where we were basically under 500 for the first time in like 20 years, this is basically a time that we need to look and be optimistic about the future. Now, we have many players that are coming up that we can say that we are looking at. Mason Wynn, that almost won a Gold Glove last year. Jordan Walker, who's been up and down, but it looks like he's catching strides. Victor Scott, J.J. Weatherholt, our first-round draft pick. We have players that we can basically say that we are in a much better place, or in at least a much brighter space than we basically were. Now, granted, it looks like we might be losing Goldie, which I do love him, but it's a time for him to basically go ahead and be great for another team. Nolan Arenado seemingly wants to stay in St. Louis and has a no-trade clause. Same with Wilson Contreras. So the thing is, I am optimistic about where we can be. If what the Cardinals is saying or what Mo is saying is that they're wanting to basically put an emphasis on the young talent and basically making sure that they are having the opportunities to grow within the system, I am great with that. The problem is it kind of contradicts when you basically have, players like Ivan Herrera, even though it looks like maybe Wilson Contreras might be playing first, so then we don't have to worry about who's going to be basically there. Jordan Walker could stay in the outfield, even though I'd rather have him at first, but he's got plenty of time to do that because he's only like in his early 20s. But having Ivan Herrera basically behind the plate, that's going to basically bring in dividends. Hopefully we can keep Brendan Donovan. Hopefully we can keep the players that we have now. Hopefully Nolan Gorman grows and gets back to where he was the year prior and basically is hitting like 40 home runs. I don't know what's going to happen. All I know is that I think we all need to come together. Let's all hold hands as a family, as a St. Louis and St. Louis Metro Cardinals region where it has like Indiana in some ways. We need to hold hands and come together, and we need to believe in this team, okay? We need to believe that they're going to bring back pitching. We need that they're going to actually develop pitching. We need Tink to come his ass up and basically dominate like he can. And like the stuff that it sounds like he may have. Quinn Matthews, also. Teco Roby, also. Like, we need these guys to come up and actually show that the trades that we made in order to basically bolster our farm system is something that's worthwhile. So my fellow Cardinals fans, all I do is ask you this. Are you willing to hope? Because your boy is. And I mean that. This is not sarcasm right now. This is for real. So we need to come together, guys. And that is all. May you have a great Cardinals day and listen to Nate talk about his team.
Yes. Now, with that great lengthy explanation of the Red Sox, of the Cardinals, I will now give my State of the Union address of the Boston Red Sox, and I will keep it short and sweet. Boston, we have not been in a World Series since 2018. Be that all but 6 years ago, it is pretty recent compared to some other people. Okay? Now, with that said, in the recent past few days, we're looking to make the acquisition of one Juan Soto. Okay? A great hitter who was impressed by us. Okay? Of course, we had David Ortiz there and whatnot. So, Sox fans, that 81 500 year that we just had that passed, we paid Rafael Devers. Now we look into the great beyond of signing Juan Soto and taking him off the market, away from the Yankees, away from other people. $500 million. Not sure about the years, but definitely $500 million. And with that being said, Red Sox, we move back into the future for playoffs. And maybe, just maybe, another World Series championship, which we needed. Because I like throwing that in the Cardinals fans' face over here, just throw that one out here. But with that being said, who got the more recent one? Who got the more recent
integration?
Hey. I
ain't got nothing to do with
it. Okay. I'm just saying. With that being said, Red Sox, we move towards becoming great once again. Okay? And this is what we need. With that being said, that is us opening for your show. Because we're like the tag team champions of the world. The boy Rob on my right. I be Price on the left. Bruh, Migos podcast. And we're back today. I know we came in a little lengthy, but we have some things to talk to you about. Rob wasn't here last week. He said he feels like he hasn't been here a whole month, so we got to jump right into some stuff. We had to do our State of the Union addresses for the Cardinals and the Red Sox. We got to talk Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. Oh, my God. What we saw last night. Deion Sanders to the Cowboys. Shador, maybe to the Cowboys. Maybe we can see some stuff like that. Are the Lakers making this Bronny thing a little weird? How they're kind of publicizing this? Anthony Richardson, maybe. Well, is Anthony Richardson a good case for having a minor league NFL? And so much more. We're going to talk all of that today. Bro Migos podcast. Sit back, get ready.
I'm going to go ahead and hit the music play, boy. Bruh. What up, though?
Rob, Tyson, Paul, It finally happened after months and months of getting pushed back from July to November. It happened. Now, before we jump right into the fight, I'm going to say this. Because I'm going to talk bad about that actual fight. But I will say this. There were a lot of positives on that card in the beginning. Barros, Ramos, very, very good fight that ended in a split. Taylor, Serrano, very good fight. Serrano, I feel like I cheated again because Taylor got a big ass head. And she headbutts. Yeah, she kept headbutting. But that was not supposed to be the creme de la creme. That was not supposed to be our main entree, even though they were listed under the main event. It was supposed to be Jake Paul, Mike Tyson. Rob, first, I'm going to let you give me your take on what you saw last night.
I was skeptic. Like, I was very skeptic on watching that fight. And the thing is, like, I'm just like, this is a guy past his prime is a very, very apt statement, but it's very much an understatement. Like, he's damn near 60. He had ulcers before, basically, like while he was training. Like, God was telling him to go ahead and stop. But I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and watch this fight. And I got to say, he looked very much like a 58-year-old man that hadn't fought in like 7,000 days, which that's what they put on there. And I mean, it was
Yep.
You know what? It was what it was. And I say that because you could see that Mike wanted to let his hands go. And I know everybody's been saying conspiracy, conspiracy, conspiracy. This whole thing is rigged. I got you. I don't have much to basically go against that. I can only say that's a 27-year-old man and that's a 58-year-old man. And they both looked like their age. Like Mike, one, he was wearing a knee brace. He wasn't moving around well, and Roy Jones kept talking about from the end of the first round throughout the end of the fight. He's like, I don't like Mike's legs. I don't like Mike's legs. He kept saying that. He kept going at that. And Mike didn't look well. Mike couldn't really move. He looked like he was stuck most of the like his knee, like basically his feet were nailed to the mat. Like, he basically was not moving well. He couldn't really throw all that well. He was throwing well, at least. Okay, for the first couple rounds, he was throwing more than Paul. Paul wasn't really doing much. He was playing more conservative the first couple of rounds. Didn't really do much at all. Then on, you could see Paul was basically taking over the fight. Like, Paul had the whole fight sewed up. Like, from basically that third round on. You could see spurts where basically Mike tried to start hot and then instantly gone away. And like basically that was mainly the fight. But credit to Jake Paul, because he seemed like, whether if it was a conspiracy or not, Jake Paul, towards the end of that fight, was basically trying not to hurt Mike. It looked like he was trying not to hit Mike. It might have been because he was scared of that punch, or scared of, Mike basically giving him a flurry. And he did kind of talk about that at the end during the interview. And Rosie Perez, basically, I think she was like, after the 6th round, she was like, I don't know why Paul isn't just letting his hands go. Which I'm like, yeah, like Paul should have basically been unleashing his hands from that 5th round on. But be that as it may, Jake Paul was seemingly courteous to Mike after the fight. It wasn't no shit talking. Logan Paul did a little bit of shit talking, but that was after Mike had basically said that he wanted to fight him next. But essentially, yeah, it was a good fight, or it was a fight. It did what it was supposed to do, which was have us watch Netflix, or live thing on Netflix, right now. So it was fine. But yeah, I didn't see any other card. I saw a little bit of. I saw the Serrano fight a fair amount, but it was y'all saw. It was hard keeping Netflix up, man. That thing has some inconsistent streams, But what you think about it?
So my first takeaway from this was, even though I wanted to see this, I knew that it was a lose-lose from the beginning, no matter what. Okay, that was my first thing. So we all saw it. You watched this on Netflix. You got Netflix in your house. If you didn't see it, it was because it was hard to keep up, which has, scared some people who are WWE fans about the coming months of this transition and this, because Raw is a live event. But we might touch on that a little bit later. But with that being said, I don't want to hear Jake Paul is fighting unless it's a boxer. Okay? I want to see an actual boxer, which he lost to Tommy Fury, who is a boxer. So from here on out, I have a couple of ground rules outside of me watching it to cover it here on the show. My first ground rule is going to be this. If you're going to watch this, I don't want to see him under any more of his promotion, his MVP promotion. I don't want anything from him under that umbrella of him picking and making his fight. First, he better go with Turk Al-Sheikh over there somewhere and go get a fight, first of all. That's the first thing I'm going to say. 2, no more guys that are not. I don't want a UFC. I don't want an old guy. I don't want none of that shit. I don't want Shannon Briggs. I don't want none of those dudes. I want you to pick somebody that is currently active in boxing or very, very, very close right now or coming up in boxing. If you're going to give somebody a shot, give somebody that's an up and comer, and not just any up and comer. Not a guy that you saw, oh, he's making his professional debut, or he got 10 fights against nobodies. Yeah, and then you feel like you're going to beat him. No, I don't want to see that. That's out of here. If you're going to fight, bring it to the masses. Give the boxing masses who know boxing and know people that are active and willing to fight. Let us pick. Let us do the picking now. You didn't pick, you didn't handpick, you've been acting like goddamn Floyd Mayweather. Whenever Mayweather was doing his thing with the Mayweather picks this fight and he picked Berto and beat up on Berto and all of this other shit. Nah, bro, that ain't you. So first thing I'm gonna say is, if you want to fight a guy who's old. Maurice Bridges is 40 years old and still active in boxing. Go fight him. He'll tell you face in. Alexis Papalian, he's 36. Go fight him. Richard Rackport, he's 34. Go fight him. Chris Billiam Smith, he's 34. Go fight him. Go fight somebody. If you want to fight an older guy, go fight one of these older guys that got pep in their step. They can close the distance. They can get on your ass. And let's see how long he really lasts. I don't want to see any more MVP promotion fights from him. He's controlling the knob. And don't get me wrong, Nate Diaz thought he was going to fight with him. But Nate Diaz, you're an octagon fighter, bro. You don't fight with them heavier gloves. You fight with thin gloves. You're a street fighter. You're going to tackle. You're going to take down. You're a wrestler. You knew that striking wasn't your thing, even though you were like, oh, I box, blah, blah, blah. No, that's not your thing. You were a striker in the cage, but not in the boxing ring. Different thing. You have to use your feet to get to your actual spot to deliver. What I saw against Tyson was, yes, Tyson was 58 years old. Tyson had power, but Tyson had no delivery system. And for the people who may have heard Roy say that, and they were like, what are you talking about, the delivery system? Tyson had no legs to close the distance to deliver the shot. If you ever go back and watch Mike Tyson's greatest thing was his footwork. Mike would, boom, close distance on you and he was on your ass. He didn't have that. Yeah, he had power. If this was a stand in one spot and slug, Mike might have had a good chance against him in them first 30 seconds or so. But because it's an actual boxing match and it's in and out and it's tactics, Jake Paul knew, I just got to wear him now. I just got to outlast the old man, which is why it was 2 minute rounds. Why? Because if it was 3 minute rounds, Mike probably would have been gassed probably by like the third, fourth round.
And more embarrassing.
Yeah. So, with that being said, 2 minute rounds, 16 minutes. Hey, he did what he did. Notice, like I said before, I don't want to see an MVP promotion fight with him headlining and him picking his opponent. If I see that shit come up and it's a UFC, I'm not even touching that shit. I'll catch a highlight on YouTube or whatever. I do not want to watch this. Okay? I do not want to watch it because, I feel like what I watched last night, I'm not going to say it tarnished Mike Tyson's legacy, but what I will say is this. By him picking and choosing and fighting older guys like that, I feel like at this point, even though you gave a platform to other people to like fight and they have good fights, I feel like whenever he's stepping in the ring, he's tarnishing the name of the greats by fighting these guys who aren't really boxers. Because whenever I think of the term boxer, I think of Mike Tyson, Floyd Mayweather. Like, even though he fought Mike is old, bro. Mike is old. But I'm thinking of the guys like Floyd Mayweather. I'm thinking of Pernell Whitaker. I'm thinking of Sugar Ray Leonard. I'm thinking of Sugar Ray Robinson, Muhammad Ali. I'm thinking of all of the guys who graced the ring. Roberto Duran. Just all of those guys who've been in there and they put in the work. And this was their career. Sonny Liston, Joe Frazier, this was these guys' livelihood. And part of me feels like this is somewhat of a mockery for him, but it's him saying that he gets to show off and be a boxer. And I understand, but if you want to truly, to me, honor this sport, I love the platform of giving people like Taylor and Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano. I love that platform. I love that part of it. Barrios and Ramos, I love that part of the platform. But I don't like whenever he graces the ring and he fights somebody who's not prepared for this. Which I'm not gonna say Mike wasn't prepared, but the fights of Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz isn't a boxer. You fought Anderson Silva. He was 40 years old. You fought a bare knuckle guy who was moderately successful in MMA. And for the people who might say, what's the difference between bare knuckle and boxing? Well, in bare knuckle fighting, you have to be tense. It's about this. It's about being real rigid up here. Boxing isn't about being real rigid up there. And not everybody understands that. So am I saying that I'm just 1,000% against everything he does? No. But what I will say is this: as far as him fighting in the ring, I don't want to see it unless he has a legit opponent in there. Go fight Hasim Rahman's son, who's like 20-some years old like you are. Go fight him. If he beats your ass, hey, deal with that shit, bro.
Right.
Deal with it. You knew what was happening whenever you got in there. And I'll respect him 10 times more if he get in there with a guy on that level and he take a L and take it with his chin up versus I'm going to pick another dude who's not really a boxer to fight.
I think when it comes to him, and I think we've talked about this before, like when it comes to him and what Logan Paul was doing, these guys are spectacles. Like, I agree when it comes to, like, all right, if you really think that you want to actually cosplay this, or not just cosplay boxer and actually be a legit fighter, like he did say he wanted to be in the Olympics and he wanted to actually fight Olympic fighters. If that's what you want to do, if this is your actual path and what you want to do, I absolutely agree with Nate. Fight actual fighters. Really test yourself and actually go against these guys. But the thing about him and the lane that they're doing and basically how they're getting these other folks' platform is about spectacle. It's about name. And the thing is, when it comes to, say, Hasim Rahman's son, or Maris Brides, or all these different fighters that you name, I think that doesn't get that cachet of, hey, come look at this, come put it in Jerry World. That doesn't go in Jerry World. And so if they're going to pick the lane of let's be spectacle, I can absolutely respect that if that's what they are real about and that's what they're saying. If they're calling themselves boxers and basically saying that they are this and that, then that's different. Because he did call out Canelo, and he was saying Canelo had to come to him and all that shit. If you really want to basically test Canelo and you really want to get in the ring with Canelo, I'll respect you for getting in the ring with Canelo. I'll absolutely basically say, all right, dude, I got you. You basically have my respect for that. But if you're basically saying that, but that's if you're trying to be an actual boxer. Even if you're not, like somebody trying to get a regular person generally trying to get in the ring with Canelo, I'm going to respect you. But the thing about it is, if you're basically saying that I am a regular boxer and you're fighting these tomato cans, that's where it's like, what the fuck?
And the thing is, he keeps calling Canelo's name, but like I know, Saul Canelo Alvarez will murder you in that ring. Yes. You're not fighting him. You're not fighting David Benavidez. You are not fighting any of those dudes. They will murder you. David Benavidez will walk you down and put you in that corner and beat on your face like a drum in the goddamn Southern University marching band, and he will play whatever tune he wants against your face and body, and there will be nothing you can do about it. Nothing. Yeah, until he steps up and he does one of those guys, he fights a legit guy, because you're not gonna stay at that weight at 220 and fight anybody. You're not gonna go fight a Dubois or Anthony Joshua. You know,
too
good
small.
goddamn well
He's
you're
way too
not gonna
small.
do that. So, so drop down, figure out where you want to be weight wise, and find somebody in that weight division and go fight them. That's who you need to go fight, because you're not staying at 225 and saying, "Oh, I'm gonna be a heavyweight and I'm going to fight one of these dudes." They're gonna cold cock you. You're gonna lay on the ground. We're probably gonna see no more boxing videos ever from you again. But I respect you once you go catch them hands from them. Now, I'm gonna respect you. Because I'm not getting in there with Anthony Joshua. As bad as Daniel Dubois went wop, 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 and put him on the ground,
no, sir.
I wouldn't even chance it. Hell, I don't even think, and I'm going to be totally honest with you, I wouldn't even want to see him fight a Francis Ngannou, just due to the fact of he might get lucky and knock Francis out. I want to see you in there with a boxer. The guy who been... Francis might fuck him up.
I ain't even gonna put no money on Francis would fuck him up.
Yeah. Yeah. But I want to see him boxer. Now you get in there and take that L. Oh, I'm gonna have much respect, but I don't want to see it under MVP. I don't. I do not want to see it under MVP. Go over there and go do a deal with Turk. Go do a deal with Turk Al-Sheikh and tell him, "Hey, bro, I want to do a one fight under here. Let me get that." And then after that, I don't care if you start pushing promotion for smaller fighters every 6 months after that, putting together events. I don't care. As long as your name ain't on the card, hand picking who you want. Okay? You ain't Floyd Mayweather. You ain't even fighting other boxers. Because I promise you, if you would have fought Berto in Berto versus you, Berto would have fucked you up. So, hey, that's just me on that. But I don't want to see it anymore, Rob. I'm gonna end it with this. He fights a real fighter, and I hear a notable boxing name or a name that I didn't saw coming up in boxing. I'll be like, all right, I'm gonna cut this on. But if I see MVP promotions, I'm gonna be like, I'm cutting this shit off, because I don't want, because I know he's gonna do something with the contract to try to make you not want to beat his ass up right at the beginning. So that's how I'm gonna go with that one from here on out. But moving on, I know a lot of you guys have been seeing in the news the talks of Deion Sanders, his son being a top 5 draft pick, or Deion Sanders leaving Colorado. And the big news is Deion the Jerry world. Could Deion coach the Cowboys? Would Deion lead the Cowboys? Would his son join him there as a Cowboy? We're going to talk about all that right now. First, Rob, your opinion, and I'm pretty sure I know where you're going to do this. Well, where you're going to go with this one. What do you see about Deion to the Cowboys?
Tinfoil do-rags, everyone. That's all.
Tinfoil do-rag time.
So let's lay them down, Tom. On. So everybody has their eyes on Deion Sanders, especially when Colorado is now bowl eligible. I think they're beating down on Utah right now as we record. And so everybody can see that he has done a good job with Colorado. He made them from literal nothing to actual something. Now, how far they go, I have no clue. Don't even care. But we know that Deion's probably going to leave this team very soon. If not this year, very, very soon. So there's two places that I think everybody has their eyes on. And that's one, that's New York. That's New York City, or really New Jersey, when it comes to the Giants. They need a quarterback. His son plays quarterback. It's logical to think, especially when it comes to Brian Daboll and how bad that whole thing is going, that he might be on his way out. But who could be on his way in? Maybe Prime. The Neon Deion. Basically going to the city of neon lights and basically being that guy in New York to run the Giants along with his son and basically perpetuate everything there. What gives me pause is that the New York Giants has only started uno black quarterback in their history, just one. So the possibility of them drafting one just seems far fetched. Now, granted, they do need a quarterback, and the team that's up there at number one, at least in the current draft order that I'm seeing, is the Jaguars. So they're not going to take one. Is Shedeur going to be the first quarterback coming off the board? Maybe. I mean, I don't see Carson Beck being drafted. I don't see anybody else really, up there. So, I mean, he could be or Shedeur could be the overall first number one pick of first quarterback taken off the board. And that would be for the Giants. But what I really think and the reason why I'm telling you to put your tinfoil do-rags on is I don't think, excuse me, I don't think that he's going to go to the Giants. What I think is that somehow, some way, especially with how bad this team has been and the injuries they've had, Cowboys are going to be that team that's going to come up in the draft order, possibly be in that top 5, maybe top 3, and they are going to select Travis Hunter, his son that he really sees himself in because he does what he's done. And that son in Travis Hunter being number 21 for your Dallas Cowboys. I see that being the case. And then Deion being the head coach there as well. Because Mike McCarthy, chances are, is on his way out. If I don't see how he could basically stay there. But is if basically Jerry just says, I just really want somebody to take these arrows, and Mike McCarthy seems like a big fat target. And so I think that would be the factor. But I could see basically Jerry saying, you know what, Deion? You made a team from nothing to something. You are a former Cowboy. And I think Michael Irvin during the pre-fight last night said something when Jerry and him were up there. He said something about Deion and negotiations. I can't remember what it was, but he said something. He's like, "Ooh, I'm sorry. I don't think I meant to say that." And everybody brushed right past it. I think that's going to be the thing that comes into play. Deion being the Cowboys head coach, Travis Hunter being a corner and maybe some wide receiver here and there, but mainly I think 90% of him is going to be corner, which that's his better position. That's what's going to actually get him money. That's the thing that basically is going to be what I say is this conspiracy theory that you guys need to look at. Deion Sanders to the Dallas Cowboys, Travis Hunter also going with him and basically playing with him. That's, I think, is going to be what's going to come.
Okay. So you don't see Shedeur playing a factor in there. Because while we still have our 10-4 do-rags on, I have something to add to your conspiracy that I saw. So, like you said, we do know that the Cowboys would love Deion and possibly Travis Hunter. But I saw this. Do you think the Cowboys would be willing to give up Dak and trade him to somebody for another first round pick?
I don't see another
team. You don't think so?
Taking in Dak.
The fable that I saw was Dak to the Raiders for their first round pick. Haven't looked at it, but that was one of the theories that somebody had put out there. That if you can get Dak to the Raiders for their first round pick and give them a quarterback, that maybe they'll be okay with that.
You know what? And I would say this. If basically their thing is we want an actual ready-made quarterback and all we got to do is trade a first and then be a top 5 first, like, that'd be interesting. Because I think I've heard, like, Dak to the Raiders before. I've heard, like, that kind of been talked. Well, Dak signing with the Raiders or something like that. But, like, I could see it. You know what? As I say that, like, I could see it. But it's one of those things. It's like part of me feels like Jerry is still big on Dak. partially because that was the like diamond in the rough that he found that has played like much better than what anybody probably would have thought. And so that's what keeps him there. But like I also see that they'll basically be and comparatively to where they have a cap room, which probably has a lot, I could look it up, but they need probably somebody to be more stable than a quarterback that they could draft, because none of the quarterbacks are really that good in this draft. Like, maybe they'll go say Cam Ward. Cam Ward is volatile, and I would not want to put a first round pick on him, because that motherfucker is, I don't know. Like he can. We're going to talk about this person later in this show, but he's Anthony Richardson with slightly more experience and stability. Because the thing about it is, he's very much boom or bust, but that boom is so high and that bust is so high. And the thing is, when it comes to his busts are very much unforced errors. That motherfucker throws very much unforced errors, kind of like Trevor Lawrence in a sense. Like, he fucks his own self up, and a lot of the reasons why these other teams are in the games with Miami is because of him. He has a lot of just fumbling and interception turnover problems. And I would not basically want to have a first round draft or first round pick on him, just because it's too volatile. You really don't know what you're gonna get. And unless you basically are like, okay, Josh Allen basically had the same kind of issues, they coached it out of him. He still has those issues. It's just that he's also been playing very well. Can Cam Ward get to that level? I don't know, and I don't know if I want to bank on that. So if they were willing to, cool, but it's like, I still don't know. But I mean, Quinn Ewers, he ain't that all that. Carson Beck ain't that at all.
Yeah.
I don't know who, like, outside of Shedeur, it's really not that many quarterbacks that you could be like, oh shit, let me go draft him. There's not really much of any.
That's why I had said I believed in Shedeur and Cam Ward being the first two quarterbacks out. Okay. Like you said, them really high peak, really low valley on Cam Ward. I totally understand that. But it's whenever I look at him and I look at the peak, sometimes you turn your back on that valley because that peak is so high with him.
That peak is ridiculous. Like that, I can't front. That peak is sexy as hell. It's just that valley, though. Like you know what I'll say is like, you've seen that show on Zeus, Jocelyn's Cabaret or whatever it's called. So it was a crazy lady on there. That one that was doing a capybara or whatever that shit was called. Like she was like half naked. She basically like tackled this lady in the parking lot. That's what Cam Ward is. Yeah, she is. Look it up. You do your Googles. I can't remember her name, but do your Googles. Look up, because capybara I think is maybe a rodent. But either way, she was doing the whole, like the Brazilian like martial art. Capoeira.
Capoeira, I want to say.
My bilingual brother. Like, that's what she was doing in a parking lot, and she tackled this one lady. Do your Googles. She was high end. Very much risk it all. She is a risk it all. Like, everybody talking about risk it all. She is a risk it all. And when by risk it all, it's life or limb. Because it seems like she will basically end you for all intents and purposes. But the ride will be worth it. All I'm saying is, that's Cam Ward. That is Cam Ward right there, because he can end it all, but also get you to glory. It could work.
It could work. Maybe you could coach out him, because right now the current draft order is Jacksonville. They're settled in. They $275 million in.
I can see them very much trade now, and I think they should.
Yeah, because I don't want to give it up. I don't want to give it up. I'll trade down, but I don't want to give a first round pick. Giants need a quarterback. Excuse me. Tennessee needs a quarterback. Cleveland, you could debatably say that they need a quarterback.
It's just that are they willing? How are they going to get out their current contract and what they going to do about it? That's going to be the thing.
Bingo. Vegas needs a quarterback. I think New England is going to keep Drake May. Okay. And then New Orleans, I don't know if if the city of New Orleans is sold on Derek Carr. Okay. I guess that they are because he's here. It is what it is. And then after New Orleans, you have Jets, Carolina, and Miami to round out the top 10, which Miami, Tua's back, concussions. Jets, Aaron Rodgers is old as fuck. Maybe you might look to draft a quarterback right now if you keep going on here. And Carolina is the Bryce Young experience. We don't know what's going to go on with it. So, hey. But I can see Dallas creeping into that top 10 for sure. Because they have nothing left. They have nothing left to help them right now. But we don't know which way this might go for them. But moving on from that.
Mm-hmm.
Lakers. Are you guys doing a disservice to Bronny and kind of making this a little bit more weird? Not having him play away games. Rob says no. I want to say
yes and
correct,
no.
Rob.
So
yes and no.
All right, so I'll go into it. So if y'all haven't heard, Bronny's not gonna be. Well, they'd already said it actually, but basically, he's not going to be playing road games for the G League team, the South Bay Lakers. So I say that it is a disservice in the way that it looks. It's not great to see, especially when everything has been about Bronny is a project. Bronny is one of the players on the Lakers. He's not special. He's LeBron James Jr., but that only means so much. They have basically made this feel very weird. Not just with basically giving a 55 pick of a 4-year deal, all guaranteed, but also at the fact of him basically sitting on the bench with his dad and having that moment and all that kind of stuff. So reason why I don't really like it is because my thing overall is that Bronny needs more time. Because we're gonna talk about Anthony Richardson, and we keep on talking about it, so it's kind of a tease, but we really keep teasing it. But when it comes to Bronny, he hasn't played many games at all. He didn't play many games at USC because of his heart attack. His heart attack or cardiac arrest, him dying on the court. And the fact that basically, he was coming back from that and just didn't play much at all. He needs reps. That man needs to play. And he did have it was somebody called it basically 12 days of Christmas ass stat line because he had 6 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, or no, I can't remember what it was. I was trying to look it up. But he had basically a weird stat line, but it was 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And so, here it is. 6 points, 5 turnovers, 4 assists, 3 rebounds, 2 steals, and a block in 31 minutes playing for them. But essentially, he only is going to play at home games. He needs to play as many games as possible. He needs reps. He needs to play. He needs to get comfortable if you guys are actually looking at him like he is a project. Because my thing is, when you have these projects, you have to at least play them at the lower level so they can get some level of confidence, some level of something, so that when they are going to be on the on the main roster, and they're going to be within that rotation, that they basically know what they're doing and they can have some level of comfort and know that they can basically have these skills and they can lean back on, okay, I've been playing and do all these things. Where I'm understanding where they're coming from is that the fact of the G League players are flying commercial. And when it comes to them and security and Bronny being what he is, the son of LeBron James Jr., I can understand there being security concerns for those guys. Be that as it may, he needs to play as many games as possible. And if they say that, hey, he's not playing these away games, then they need to figure out a way for him to do that, because he's not going to play in the NBA valuable minutes. He's gonna play if somebody gets hurt. He's gonna play at the end of like the quarters, like going into halftime or something like that. But he's not gonna play any meaningful time like he would if he was playing in the G League. So I think that they make it weird and they make this whole thing weird when they do shit like this. But even though I understand the security concerns, they need to figure that out so he can play these games and actually get more of a rhythm than just sitting on the bench looking at his daddy play front row like he's been doing his whole life.
Yeah, agree with you, Rob. He needs as much time as possible because he's showing you what he is well, I'm gonna be honest. They call him the project, but I see him as this. I see him as this is our part of our pardon gift to LeBron as he transitions into deciding whether or not he's gonna leave or not. And we're gonna as your daddy is the all-time leading scorer and got us a championship since he been here. We're going to give him a good old pardon gift for helping you try to figure this thing out to see if you're going to be a very serviceable player. Because it's no doubt in my mind, Dalton Connect is a very serviceable player. Dalton Connect is lightning in the bottle whenever he gets going, and he is 15 to 30 waiting to happen whenever you need it. Okay? And Bronny, you are not 15 to 30 waiting to happen whenever we need it. So, do I think that they're all in on this project? Yes and no. And the reason I'm saying yes is because it's LeBron James Jr. You want to see how high his upside is. And the reason I say no is because it's also LeBron James Jr. He hasn't shown you in a college setting that he's that guy. He never showed you at USC he's going to make it. Like he's that guy. Like it's guys in college like that are showing you. Like Cooper Flag, who has been freaking hooping, he's showing you that, hey motherfucker, whenever I get ready to come to the NBA, right now I'm 17, but I'm gonna be a problem whenever I get there. I'm gonna be a problem. And we never saw that I'm going to be a problem from Bronny at all. We saw a little highlights, Sierra Canyon, high school shit, but that was high school. We never saw it in college. It wasn't like Zion. Zion went from high school being really good to college being really good, and just now he's injured. But whenever he's on the court, he's really good. So until we see that, I don't know how much they're really, really all in.
But I think you're talking about two different things here, because those guys, like the Cooper Flags, the Zion, they're like, oh no, you're a cornerstone, you're a superstar, you're going to be the guy that we lean on. With Bronny, I don't think that he will ever be that. What I've been basically contending that Bronny is he's going to be a very much serviceable player that's going to win championships. And by winning championships, I mean that he's going to be like a Gary Payton II. He's going to be somebody that you bring in for a very specific purpose, but it's a very important purpose to the team. He's a very athletic guard. He's very much, he's got a lot of like bounce to him. Like every time I look at him, he got hot.
Yeah, he does.
And it's I think when it comes to like somebody that's going to be a pest, like I've been like, let's not look at him as LeBron James, the next LeBron James. Look at him like the next Gary Payton Jr. And not saying that that's a bad thing. It shouldn't be anything. But a guy that could be in the league for 10 years, 12 years, that basically, is going to be somebody's corner, like a James. Let's say like James Posey, for example. Let's say like Andrew Miller, for example. Somebody that's going, like, he ain't gonna blow the world up. He ain't gonna basically make it to where you're gonna look at him like, oh my God. But somebody that's always sought after, somebody that's in the league that basically is like, hey, we need we need this piece on a playoff team in order to make us great. And we basically push our ceiling even higher, or at least push our floor even higher to basically what we once were before him. That's what I think LeBron James Jr. or Bronny James is going to be. He's not going to be a star. I don't think looking at him as a star is even reasonable, especially with how much of a star his dad is. But if he can be a serviceable player that comes in, gets rotational minutes, that basically gets like 3-4 steals, that gets like, a block or two a game, maybe score like 8 points a game, gets a bunch of rebounds, but is basically in there to be a pest that's locking down defenders, that's got a good defensive rating to him. I think that's the lane that he needs to be. But in order to get to that lane, he's got to basically get the time in. And him sitting on the bench is not going to give him that time in. It's just not. But, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, he needs to be that. He doesn't need to think he's Cooper Flag or anything like that. He needs to look at, like, I'm going to be a pro that's going to be here for a long time.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah, I don't think until he gets that time, we're not gonna see him develop. It's just like Little John said in Robin Hood Men in Tights. We don't get no toes, we don't get no rolls. So if he don't get no minutes, we'll never understand how good he could actually be. So we will see. We'll definitely be keeping an eye on him. Now next. Do y'all really like football? Do some of y'all really like football?
It's got to be asked, dog. Cause like when it comes to like everybody, like so many people, the game sucks. All these games are so horrible. The game, it's like I don't see it. I like. Is it really that bad? Like, is it really that bad to you, bro?
No, it. You know what it is. I look. Person who I'm not gonna call your name, but I'm gonna use you as an example because you're my one friend who constantly say the game is rigged. They cheating for this nigga Patrick Mahomes, this, that, and the third. Okay. Whenever I hear my homie who says that, I'm like, the game ain't rigged, bro. They make bad calls or shit happens. It's just like whenever he won the other week, it was like, okay, where was the rigging? Did they tell y'all that they were gonna block a field goal to win? Because I knew Kansas City was gonna lose that week. I remember sitting here looking at the game and I was like, Kansas City is about to lose to Denver on a field goal. And they jumped through and made this block, and I was like, oh shit, Kansas City stays undefeated. But me wanting Patrick Mahomes to win a Super Bowl so he can have 3, I want them to lose as soon as possible because I don't want what happened to Brady to happen to him, to go undefeated all the way to the end and then lose the one that counts the most. I feel people say that the game is ass because they team ain't winning. I feel like them niggas is fucking Ed Wansler in the Boondocks. The game cheating. Nigga, the game ain't cheating. And that's what I feel like I hear. Because, all right, Eagles win the other night, okay, against the Commanders. I hear people saying, all of a sudden, Terry McLaughlin can't get open. Yeah, of course, he screwed me on the parlay. The some gun had been catching 4 catches a game, and of course, he get 2, As soon as they put out that stat, he gets 2. Do I think the games are rigged? Hell no, I don't think that they're rigged. Do I think some bad calls get made? Hell yeah. Do I think some people get favorable calls sometimes? Hell yeah. But they were that damn good, and that's how come the ref look at them and be like, you need a penalty? Because that don't seem like it was you.
Yeah, it's like the game is about the same, I feel like. Everything, and I saw somebody say it, and I think it's true, that I think that red zone kind of fucked up a lot of people. Like, I think that they think that it's always action all the time. There's always interceptions, always touchdowns. It's like, it's not.
And it's not.
Sometimes the game just goes. And because I remember, like, when I would bring up the fact that, like, NFL games are shorter than baseball games. And this was before the rule changes. Like, when it was just regular game, like, it was basically NFL games were longer. It's like, nah, but it's so much action. It's like, it's actually only about, like, within a 3-hour and 11-minute NFL game, I think it's like 7 minutes of actual action. Like, we don't think about the fact that, like, yeah, it's a 60-minute game, like, as far as the game being 60 minutes, but it takes 3 hours and there's only 7 minutes of actual action. Versus other sports where it's like, I think baseball had like 10 or 11 minutes of actual action. Like, we're just so wrapped up into being football fans and loving football for what it is that it's just like, And I think with Red Zone, it kind of just skews it because it's just like, here's something else. Here's something else that's happening. Here's this. Here's that. And it's all this stimuli. It's like, nah, dog. Like, the game is the game. And the game is good no matter what way you swing it. But, like, the game, like, it made me think, like, man, when it comes to, like, cats, what is like with women, it's like, oh man, I gotta have a bad bitch, like this, that, and it's like they see a woman that is waking up and everything, and she ain't got makeup on. It's like, oh, what's that? It's like, dog, a bad bitch is a bad bitch even without makeup, or like they put makeup on and it kind of enhances some things. They don't always just look spectacular. Like, do you like women, dog? Like, do you actually like them?
Yeah. They don't think about what goes in. Okay, perfect example. Tomorrow, Detroit is going to play Jacksonville. Do I think Jacksonville got a shot against Detroit? Fuck no. But what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to look at this game a little bit because Detroit probably going to score about 30. Okay. And I'm looking for Jacksonville to score no more than 10, maybe 14. Yeah. Maybe. That's it. It's not going to be a back and forth game. It's going to be a lot of one-sided action going on. And I'm cool with that. I think people have lost football is kind of in that area of basketball where the offense is favored more, but not everybody has a high-powered offense, or not everybody has a star that can go out there and shine on offense. Because I damn sure know I done already wrote y'all off to whip the piss about of Tennessee. Like, I got Minnesota dog walking Tennessee. If I'm placing bets, I'm like, money line Minnesota is the first one.
Don't bet the points just because, like, I thought the same thing with Jacksonville. I was basically calling Jacksonville's offense or Jacksonville's defense a hoe. Like, I was basically, like, for a good time called Jacksonville's defense. But, like, they basically shut us down and we barely won that game. So I tread lightly. For one, tread lightly on ever betting on the Minnesota Vikings. I tell anybody I can, just don't. If you wanted to, like, if you want to just throw your money away, just give it to me. I will take it. I will invest it. I'll do whatever it is. Put it in Bitcoin or some shit. But that'd be even better than putting it into the fucking Vikings. Never bet on the Vikings. Never.
The games tomorrow that I see the most that I want to watch are Kansas City and Buffalo. Okay. And Baltimore and Pittsburgh. Which that game is fucking early, but I will be watching that shit. That's 12 o'clock game. 12 o'clock game. I gotta watch that one. Every other game outside of that, Green Bay and Chicago, not really. I'll peep at it. Like I said, Detroit, Jacksonville, not giving a damn. Because I just feel like Detroit is gonna beat them. Miami, Las Vegas, I might peep at it, see if Tua continues to do better. New England and the Rams, not really peeping at it. New Orleans and Cleveland. New Orleans probably should beat Cleveland. Should beat, unless Jameis Winston wills. Well, Jameis Winston might have a day tomorrow because he's upset with how he left New Orleans, so he might have a day tomorrow. You never know. Because I had to look at that matchup and I was like, that might be a good one. Baltimore, Pittsburgh, I gotta watch that because Russ has been playing extremely well. And I'll say this, Denver, I hope that you don't have to see him because he's going to be looking to put foot in the ass if he see y'all. Minnesota and Tennessee, like I said, I got Minnesota. The Jets in Indianapolis, the battle of the two old niggas. Flacco and goddamn Aaron Rodgers. Do I really want to see them? Kind of not really. Atlanta and Denver. One guy who's getting old and versus the new kid on the block. I want to see the other new kid on the block in Atlanta. God damn it, Kurt, why you can't pull a hammy right now? I'm just saying, I don't want you to go out season ended, Kurt, but I did pull a hammy, little calf injury, got cramps, can't get right, something. I don't know. I just want to see Michael Penix. I want to see how he does there. Seattle, San Francisco. San Francisco look like they can't get right to save their life right now. So I don't have to hear my cousin Chris hollering about he going back to the Super Bowl. So that's a plus. Kansas City, Buffalo. That might be a pretty good game right now. That's one I'm definitely gonna watch. Cincinnati and the Chargers. I don't know. Probably watch that one. See Jamar Chase go off. See how everything goes for the Chargers. That could be a good game. Herbert might show out. Houston should be Dallas. Dallas, y'all just Cooper Flag and Trey Lance show you how bad Dak's backups are after him. And it is so bad. I'm like, y'all either got to keep Dak happy, or if he ever decides to say, I don't want to come to work, y'all got to deal with them backups. Y'all gonna cry.
Dog.
I'd cry.
Like, think about the fact that Trey Lance is still not playing the fucking game. That nigga was a project. Like, when it comes to like him, it's like he was supposed to be the fucking project. It was supposed to be like that heir apparent that they brought in. He's been on that team what, 2 years? Like 1 or 2 years, something like that.
Like, 1, 2 years, something like that.
Like, this is the perfect opportunity to have that motherfucker playing. But they like, nah, we've seen how this shit go. That nigga threw like 4 interceptions in the preseason or something like that in one game. 4 or 5, something like that.
4 or 5. Rob, I've put together goddamn construction paper projects that throw better than Trey Lance. I am not going out there and sticking. Now look, Dallas, if you want to just go for that top draft spot, I say stick him out.
Like I said, like, go ahead and get Travis Hunter. What's the worst you're gonna do?
Stick him out there. I feel like they feel that they're gonna lose either way with Cooper Kupp, but I'll stick Trey. I'm gonna be honest with you, Trey Lance, this ain't a hard knock against you, but you're after what you did in the preseason. If I was trying to lose, if I was Jerry, this is what I'd do. I'd go talk to CD. Look, CD, I'm gonna figure out how we can shut you down for the season so you can recover. All right. Same thing with Micah. Shut your ass down for the season, okay? And then I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna say, look here, Trey. You know that time you've been waiting for to go out there and show me you can play? Nah, it's that time. And I'm gonna stick him out there, and I'm gonna let him throw 4 picks a game if he feel like it. He gonna be the first guy to come in and start past the halfway point and just
let it rip, good buddy. Just do your thing. Don't worry about them. Just throw that peel out there. Just let it rip, my dude.
You go out there and you get him the best of you throw in this goddamn football.
What I say about Jameis Winston? Prove him wrong, throws. Prove him wrong, Trey Lance. It's the number 3 pick. Prove those motherfuckers wrong. Prove them wrong, throws. Like, show them what you are. Show them what you made of, buddy. Show them what you made of.
Just you go out here and you show him you could make that goddamn throw in that 2-foot window at 40 yards. You throw that ball
right
over there.
Now. Like, you make it happen. Show him that art talent. You know, that hair gone, but that arm ain't. Like, let's go, my dude.
And you let this rip and you get me that number 1 draft pick.
Do that shit. Do that. Play one. Take one for the team. It ain't like you ain't got shells to do anyway. Like, what you gonna make yourself useful?
He can go out there and sell. And if I was Jerry, I'd go pull $1 million from one of my other investments and just write him I'd give it to him cash. You got me that number 1 draft pick, and that's what I wanted. You take this right here, and you go have a great time.
I give that motherfucker oil spigot or some shit. Like, whatever. I don't even know if we still drill oil in this country. Like, whatever it is, like, you got it, buddy.
You take this, and you go have a great time on me, and don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You got this at all. At all. Now, with that being said, we have one more thing to talk about before we get out of here. And Rob said that we have mentioned his name quite a few times this show, and his name is Anthony Richardson, quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts, okay, who haven't had a great quarterback since Peyton Manning left. So, Andrew Luck, I'm sorry, Andrew Luck, I forgot about you. You just abruptly retired and just,
honestly,
you abruptly retired.
I truly forget about the Andrew Luck years of the Colts. Like, I forget that motherfucker playing. Like, I vaguely remember, even though it's like not that long ago. Like, not entirely that long.
You see how you can forget about it, though.
Yeah.
But that being said, Anthony Richardson, Rob feels that he is a great case for the NFL to have a minor league.
Yep. So
elaborate for me.
One of the things that we need to focus on is the fact that this is a special case. It's not too many cases that are like Anthony Richardson. And like I talk about with Bronny, Anthony Richardson hasn't played a ton of games. Like, I think before, what was it, last season or this season, he only played like 16 games since high school. Like, overall, in college and in the NFL.
Yeah.
He's only played like 16 games. And so when it comes to playing time and getting reps in, and especially when these guys that are quote unquote projects, you got to play them. Like, they can only get so much experience sitting on the bench, sitting behind somebody, looking from the stands, man. Like, they need to play. They need to actually be in the thick of it and play. And when it comes to, practice time, they're not getting hit. They're not really, they only have to elude the rush so much. Like, they basically have to get playing time. And so when it comes to that, there needs to be some kind of minor league that, like a AAA, AA, just like with baseball, that corresponds with the season, that these guys can just play. And guys that's coming back from rehab, they can play as well. Like, the UFL, I think, is what they're calling. Like, I know they're trying to deem themselves as a developmental league, but they play opposite of the league. They start right after the Super Bowl. So they don't really play as much as or they don't play and correspond with the NFL. They're just like that kind of beta league, if you will. Like, they're not a minor league, but they're like a beta league. Yeah. Like, they basically try out all the things that the NFL could think of, and they basically are that. Kind of like what MLB does with some of the independent ball and minor league systems. But either way, Anthony Richardson needs to actually play games because he hasn't played enough. And he hasn't done enough to basically say, hey, I should be the starting quarterback of the Colts. He has a lot of arm talent. He is a project, and he was there to be a project, but it's only so much time and there's only so many things you can get by just sitting on the bench. And I know that's everybody's going focus, everybody's going thing, but I think that he needs to play, and he needs to basically play around guys, maybe not his age, like he didn't have to go back to college, but like play games, play as the quarterback in meaningful time. And I don't know if he's going to be able to do that while doing, well, actually now he's going to be starting again. But like, he needs to be developed. And I don't know what else can happen as far as him developing, because when it comes to a minor league system, having those guys transitioning back and forth, I don't know if you'll be able to do that. But the NFL needs to look into it and basically have it to where they can have that going forward. And I don't, because, granted, they're going to have to pay for them, or they're going to have to find some kind of affiliates program or whatever it may be, but they need to make that happen sooner or later.
So, with your idea, I have one that I've kind of thought about a little bit, and I feel like this is the direction that it should be. What if we went with a developmental clause in your first rookie contract, saying that the team itself would be willing to put in to have you have a quarterback coach, that you'll play a certain amount of games as long as you're healthy. Like, let's say you're guaranteed at least 12 full game starts to get out there and develop, that you'll take first team reps, and that you'd have every available resource for you to get better in those first 2 to 3 to 4 years to try to give you maximum developmental potential. Because I feel like that's the only way that you're going to get it, because not just he's suffering, but we looking at it, even Bryce Young is suffering. Now, some people may just write it off as they're not cut, they're not here to win, but they've shown you flashes of they can get this done. Like we said, Anthony Richardson is another one of those guys. He's just the NFL version of Cam Ward right now. With that, I can get the ball. I can throw this bitch a mile. Now, if I'm gonna put it on target,
like,
it's a different
I might literally throw it a mile and throw it to the next city. Like,
yeah.
And it still get intercepted.
Is it gonna be where you want? Yeah. Somebody still might pick that sucker off whenever it get there. But I can get it down there. He's kind of like Cam Ward is in the NFL, but I feel like they're going to need some sort of guarantee that they're going to try to develop them or something.
I think the problem is that, which I agree with you. Like, I think that it should be like, hey, here's what your expectations are. I think the problem when it comes to the fact that they don't have a minor league system is because, or the issue that it happens is, essentially you have to kind of bring him along while also bringing everyone else along. So like Quentin Nelson is not a developmental project. He's an all-pro, guard. Michael Pittman Jr. is not a developmental project. He is a receiver. He's a really good receiver. Those guys have to be basically taken along for the ride of basically Anthony Richardson being a project, and they have to go through those frustrations as well with him being a project. And I think that's where you basically get the problems when it comes to this dude, because it's like they're having to take hits. This dude is not doing everything, or he's not advancing as well as what they probably would like. They had Flacco in there because he was at least steady when he was steady, but it was just the thing of now you have to go. Now they're going back to Richardson, and now you basically have to go get used to him again. You have to go with the growing pains. Not everybody's equipped to deal with that, and so when you have a developmental system where, hey, this is what the focus is going to be. You're going to basically be here to be a better pro, to get reps, to basically learn, to be in scenarios. This is your focus. It's not to basically win the Super Bowl. It's to basically just be here and be ready for when you basically get back there so you can go win Super Bowls. That's the thing. Like, it could be receivers with running routes. Like, some cats are not great route. Like Xavier Worthy, they talk about is not a great route runner. It could just be with the route tree in Kansas City being what it is, but either way, he could basically go down there and develop and get better and get more equipped, and then come to Kansas City and then play. I just think it'd be better. And also, I think that it'd probably have to be to where the fans know when it comes to these guys being developed, if they get hurt in development, it's going to be a lot of people bitching about it. It's like, why would he be in development? What's going to happen? Like, why? Like, well, now he ain't getting, like, if you get hurt, you get hurt, dog. But at least like, this is where he needed to be for the future. But I mean, I'm just throwing it out there for the NFL to maybe even look at. But it's something that I think should happen.
Yeah, it is something like that has to happen. Either that, some sort of developmental contract, something to help these guys prosper. But then it's also, some people are going to look at it, is this just the bad batch of guys that's coming out right now, or are they not ready, or are they not developed, or are they not doing what we need them to do, basically? But you never know. But like you said, maybe a developmental can help, some sort of off-season developmental, because they're going to need it. They're going to need it. The game is evolving even more offensive. It's either one or two things is going to happen, right? They either gonna start developing these guys on a level faster whenever they get to the NFL, or colleges are going to change how they develop these guys whenever they're there, because quarterbacks usually sit about 3-4 years. They're going to change how they develop these guys to get them ready to go to the NFL.
I don't think they're going to do that, because college coaches some of them are really into development, but that's like the coaches that basically have been there for a while and know that their job is secure. The guys that basically just got there, they're the motherfuckers that basically do not want to, rock the boat. They're going to do whatever they can to win now, win as much as possible. So those motherfuckers going to basically be like, nah, you ain't fucking up my job. Like unless they get affiliated with a team and they become a feeder system or something like that. Like nah, they gonna be like, nah, buddy, you got to figure it the fuck out or be out. Like that's what they gonna do.
You better figure this shit out right now. Yeah, it could be one of those things. It really could be one of those things. But that's saying that, this has been us, Bro Amigos Podcast. Don't forget, like, subscribe, share. We always had a code for you guys to get W, to get your energy flowing. Like we said, code Bro Amigos Pod, get you 10% off W.
On that W.
And yep, definitely save you some money, get you some energy going. And with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and get up out of here because Rob's back and we needed that. Rob had to come back.
Boy, they held it down for y'all. Yeah. Like I know y'all love the Cowboys talk because it pays.
Yeah. Cowboys always pays. They just, but you know what? They always do some funny shit that helps people talk about.
That is the case. Like they are good for
always. Because like right now, like people are. Dak is down. I feel sorry for Dak. Dak been dealing with a non-running game team. Oh, yeah, I got to throw the ball 30, 40 times. And, yeah, you paid me, but goddamn, you ain't going to try to help me.
Help me, nigga.
I know that's how he feels. Yeah, just help me. Help me. And I know that's what he's saying, because that's what I'd be saying. But with all of the other good stuff that we just said, we're going to go ahead and get up out of here. Go ahead and take us out, Rob.
Good night, Taylor Swift. Good night, Canada. I'm glad to be back, seeing y'all beautiful faces. Get us to 100. We need to be 100 subscribers. I want more people to be having the goodness in their ear holes that we bring, baby. They would bring daddy. Yeah. Like I wanted it to be in all the ear holes across America. I want them to be here. I want them to hear daddy. The ear holes of Ramigos podcast when we talk to you in Black Sabbath shirts. Like I want to basically be in their daddy.
And with him saying all of that, we're gonna go ahead and get him out of here. Peace.
Thanks for checking out this episode of the Bro Amigos podcast. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe so you never miss an episode.